The following problem asks us to solve the following quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Again, every time you use the quadratic formula, it's a good idea to write it down just so that you remember what it is. So it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And it's just one of the things that you should memorize. You're going to use it in every math class from here on out, and you should know it. We get the a, b's, and c's from the formula ax squared plus bx plus c. So what's in front of the x squared is the a, so in our case, 4 is in front of the x squared. What's in front of the x is the b, which in our problem, negative 2 is in front of the x squared. We get that from plus and minus 2. You don't have to do the plus and negative, but it helps to see it. And then c is negative 3. And so then it just becomes a plug-and-chug problem. You just are sticking in those values for x. And so you're going to put in a negative 2 for b. You're going to put in a negative, so you get negative 2 plus or minus a negative 2 squared. Make sure on that plus or minus, a very common mistake not to forget that. It's that negative 2 is plus or minus the square root. So inside the square root we got negative 4 times a, which is 4, times negative 3, which is c. And then that's going to be all over 2 times 4. So that's just plugging in numbers, replacing the variables with the numbers that we wrote down there. That's why I like to write them out just to make it easier. Now we've got to simplify. Well, the first thing is that negative and negative is a positive, so we get a positive 2 plus or minus the square root of, well, negative 2 squared is 4. Then you've got two negatives. You got a negative 4 and a negative 3, so that becomes a positive. And then you got to do 4 times 4 times 3. Well, 4 times 4 times 3 is going to turn out to be 48. And then that's going to be all over 2 times 4, which is 8. We simplify the square root, so we're going to have x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 52 over 8. Now we need to simplify what's inside that square root. So we're going to use the perfect square method. And if you notice, 4 goes into 52 13 times. And so we end up with 52 equals 4 times 13. Well, the square root of 4 is 2, so when we simplify it, it's 2 times the square root of 13. So our answer then becomes 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 13 over 8. Well, if you notice, since both of those terms in the numerator have 2 in them, we can cancel a 2 out of everything, and so we can change it to x equals 1 plus or minus 1 times the square root of 13, and then instead of 8 we took the 2 out, and so it's just going to be a 4 left over. So 1 plus or minus 13 over 4 is your final answer.